You make a salary that would have felt like a lot of money to a younger version of you. Maybe it still sounds like a lot when you say it out loud. But your bank account at the end of the month tells a different story. And the frustrating part isn't just the number, it's that you can't fully explain where it went. You're not blowing money on anything crazy. You're not living extravagantly. You're just running out every month. Today, we're going to look at why that's happening with actual data, because part of the answer is not what most personal finance content tells you. Here's the number that reframes this entire conversation. Since January 2021, prices in America have risen 22.7%. Wages over the same period have grown 21.5%. That is a 1.2 percentage point gap, according to Bankrate's analysis of Bureau of Labor Statistics data. 1.2 percentage points doesn't sound like much. But that gap accumulated over 4 years while you were still paying the same bills, eating the same groceries, and living the same life. The gap didn't just affect your account balance. It compounded into it. The question this video is built around: if you feel broke on a good salary, how much of that is math and how much is spending? The honest answer is that it's both, and knowing which one is driving your specific situation determines what you actually do about it. The math that changed without anyone announcing it between April 2021 and April 2023. Inflation outpaced wage growth for 25 consecutive months. Not one bad month. 25 in a row. During that period, every dollar you earned bought less than the dollar from the month before. Month after month after month. And while that was happening, your rent renewed at a higher rate, your car insurance renewed at a higher rate, and grocery prices at the checkout were 25% higher than they were 2 years earlier. According to Bell's and Statista data, real hourly earnings adjusted for inflation are still down 0.7% from January 2021 to July 2025. You nominally earn more than you did 4 years ago. But in purchasing power, you have less. Here's what that 0.7% looks like in dollar terms. On a $65,000 salary, it's approximately $455 in annual purchasing power gone, quietly, without a pay cut. And from April 2025 to April 2026, wages are once again growing 0.24 percentage points slower than inflation, according to USAFacts. None of that was announced. Nobody sent you a letter saying your salary now buys what $63,700 bought 2 years ago. It just happened in the background, in hundredths of a percent, in the price of every individual item you buy. The 4 hidden drains on a middle-class salary. The inflation gap explains some of why your salary feels smaller. But there are 4 specific costs that have grown faster than wages and faster than general inflation, and if any of them apply to your life, they explain a significant portion of the feeling. Drain 1. Housing. National median rent is up approximately 30% since 2020. If you were paying $1,400 a month in 2020 and your rent has followed the national trend, you're paying closer to $1,820 today. That's $420 more per month, $5,040 more per year for the same apartment. If your salary also went up since 2020, some of that raise went directly to covering your rent increase, not to savings, not to debt payoff, to a cost that was already in your budget. Drain 2. Car insurance. Average auto insurance premiums are up roughly 60% since 2020, according to industry data. A $120 monthly premium in 2020 is now $192. That's $864 more per year coming out of the same paycheck. Drain 3. Groceries. USDA data shows grocery prices up approximately 25% since 2020. A $600 monthly grocery budget now requires $750 to buy the same food. Drain 4. Healthcare out-of-pocket costs. Employee contributions to health insurance premiums rose 5.9% in 2025, the fastest rate in years according to Aon Benefits survey data. Copays, deductibles, and non-covered expenses add to that. The average family spent $1,400 out of pocket in 2023 on top of their premium contributions. That's the picture. Housing up $5,000. Car insurance up $864. Groceries up $1,800. Healthcare up several hundred. Combined, somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 more per year, going to the same costs you had in 2020. Which of these four is the biggest drain in your budget right now? Housing, insurance, groceries, or healthcare? Drop it in the comments, just the one word. I want to see what's hitting people hardest. Before we go further, I need to add the complication that honest research requires. Since May 2023, nominal wages have been outpacing inflation. For middle-income workers, specifically the income band this channel covers, the situation has improved compared to the 2021 SOS 2023 period. Real wages are growing again, slowly. So why do people still feel broke? Two reasons. First, the 2021 test 2023 damage was real and was never fully reversed. You absorbed 25 months of purchasing power loss. Growing at 0.5% annually doesn't undo that quickly. Second, some portion of always broke is not the math problem, it's what happens to income increases. This is where I have to be honest that the research doesn't cleanly separate structural costs from spending choices. Here's the question this all leads to. If it's partly math and partly spending, which one is your problem? The answer determines the solution. And there's a simple test for it. The margin test, finding your real number. Your margin, the number left after fixed costs and necessities, tells you which category you're in. If your margin is under $300 after fixed costs and basic necessities, structural math is your primary problem. The four drains we covered are eating your budget. The solution involves either increasing income or reducing a major fixed cost, housing or transportation. If your margin is $300 to $700 and it's disappearing, you have some room, but discretionary spending is absorbing it. Lifestyle inflation, small upgrades that each feel reasonable, has grown to match your income. The solution involves tracking where the discretionary money actually goes before deciding what to cut. If your margin is above $700 and you're still broke, income is not your primary problem. Allocation is. The money exists, but isn't being directed deliberately. Most people reading this are in the first or second category. And most of the personal finance advice out there, particularly the Just Budget Better advice, is aimed at the third category, while the first two categories nod along, feeling vaguely blamed. Here's what I can't tell you with precision. The research on how much of always broke on a good salary is structural versus behavioral varies significantly by study and methodology. Some analyses attribute the majority of the middle-class squeeze to structural cost increases. Others find that discretionary spending growth, streaming services, dining out, subscription accumulation plays a larger role than most people admit. I've read both sides, and I don't have a clean percentage split to give you. What the data does agree on, at the $50,000 to $75,000 income range, cost increases in housing, transportation, and healthcare have been large enough and fast enough that you cannot attribute the feeling purely to spending choices. But you also can't attribute it entirely to external costs without looking honestly at the discretionary side. Both things are true. Your specific situation determines the ratio. Here's the number I want to leave you with. From December 1999 to December 2025, 26 years, the median weekly wage in America grew by 12.1% in real, inflation-adjusted terms. That's according to Pew Research's May 2026 analysis of bills data. 12% over 26 years. In actual purchasing power, that is the cumulative real wage growth for the median American worker across more than a quarter century. The feeling that your salary doesn't go as far as it should is not imagination. It is the accumulated result of 26 years of wage growth that barely exceeded inflation, combined with specific cost categories: housing, healthcare, childcare, education that grew substantially faster than general inflation. That is the math behind the feeling. Here's what to do with this. First, calculate your real margin. Take home minus every fixed cost. The number you get tells you which category of always broke applies to you. If it's a structural problem, the lever is income or a major fixed cost. No amount of subscription cancellation moves the math enough. If it's an allocation problem, The lever is deliberate direction of existing discretionary money. Tracking for 30 days before changing anything is the most honest starting point. And if it's both, which it usually is, the structural piece has to be addressed first, because you can't allocate money you don't have. Which one is your situation right now? Structural math problem, lifestyle inflation, or allocation? Just drop one of those three in the comments. I want to see the actual breakdown across people watching this. If this is your kind of channel, subscribe. See you in the next video.